Well, hey guys, welcome back to the channel. It's been about a week or so. I shaved for the first time in 5 years. It's kind of weird. So I'd reach out and ask you guys if you haven't considered subscribing yet to go ahead and do so. Need a little help here to grow the channel if you don't mind. It's free, doesn't cost you anything, and I want to show you a project I've been doing before we get into the actual video for today. And it's right over here, and it's a pretty big project. But underneath here, there's little pots. There's that one, and this one over here. These are all trees. 1,200 of them. Most of them are bur oaks. A fair number, I think close to 200, are pecan trees, and I got, I think, 18 grapefruit trees started. This is going to be pretty much a yearly thing I'm going to start doing because the market's pretty good for trees. So probably about when they're 4 feet tall, I'll start selling them off. And I thought that'd be pretty cool, and thought you guys would like to see something like that. Anyway, let's get into the live action and get into today's video. So I did something very sacrilegious. I drilled a hole in the dash of a vintage truck. And guess what? It's my truck. I don't care. And for a manual transmission, this actually gets bypassed because there's nothing on the steering column for a switch. Well, under the old truck here, and I came under here to find a way to get this trailer connector hooked up and also get my auxiliary backup lights hooked up. And the wiring down here is a bit of a mess. The only place in this entire truck where the wiring is a mess at all, which I count my blessings there because I'm very fortunate. So I got a bunch of extra wires coming from up front. I know this red one was originally the trailer brake wire. Got a couple here that I'm not sure what they are. I got to trace them out. And I was sitting here looking at it, and I decided that, you know what, these wires are crunchy and crusty and dried out, and they're just a mess. So I'm going to go ahead and here's the original wiring harness right here that comes back. It's got your tail lights and your turn signals and your backup lights in it. I'm going to go ahead and nip it off right there, and everything from here back going up to the tail lights, I'm just going to remove it, and I'm going to rebuild it. I'm going to make my own brand new wiring harness and tap it in right up here, and that'll include a new brake wire for the trailer, which I've got a blue wire ready for it to replace it, and remove all this extra junk. I have no idea where it goes to. And also an orange wire I'm going to run. It's going to come back here and go to, I believe it's the black wire on here, the auxiliary, which is the center post of this 7-blade trailer connector, and that'll be for the auxiliary backup lights, so I can have backup lights on my trailer as well. So that's what we're getting ready to do. And I've already removed the tail lights up top, and I'm going to get under here, and I don't know if I'm going to get any footage of it, but I'm going to try right now. Try to get these wires pulled down. Oh, that one came out. And back up here, there's a bunch of connectors, well, clips that hold the wire where it's supposed to be. So we'll get that one out. And I'm going to get this wiring completely removed, and I'm going to lay it up on the bench and go through the process of building a brand new one. So let me yank it all out, and I'll see you guys up on the workbench. Alright, we got the harness up here on the bench, and it's just pretty crusty. All this is going away. It's pretty bad. I'm going to save these ends right here So I have some quick disconnects on the taillights and the bed because I know the bed's going to come off at some future point. But right now it's time to take some measurements and start laying out some new wire and getting things soldered together. Alright, something unfortunate happened. SD card on this GoPro decided to go corrupt on me, and I lost all of the footage that was putting the whole entire wiring harness together. So I can't go back and redo it because I'm not going to take it apart and rebuild it. So let me show you what I got. Alright, so this comes up from the cab. Right here's where I'll splice in to the existing line. The orange and the blue wires will head all the way up to the dash for the brake line and the auxiliary backup lights. And I got everything wrapped really good. Here's my junction that happens back on the bumper and leads over here to left tail light and turn signal. And I got my auxiliary backup light connector tied in here. This is for the license plate light. Then all these loose wires here are going to get tied into the trailer connector. Then following back over here, the other auxiliary backup light, and then the right tail light and turn signal. So it's time to crawl into the truck and get this thing installed. Alright, we're under the truck. I got the wiring run. Got it hooked up front already. And we're going to see how well this goes. I don't have a lot of room here, but I'm going to solder everything together. One thing I did inadvertently do is I bought a trailer 7-blade that was set up for the RV style, but the only difference is that the what do you call it, the backup light wire is red instead of purple, and your auxiliary 12 volt is black instead of red. I'm not using the auxiliary. I'm gonna leave it there, but it's there if I need it. Should I need to, like, something, I don't know. I have no idea right now. But I got where is it at? Let's start with, this is gonna be awkward, but I think it's doable. I think you guys can see. Let's just pick a wire and go for it. These are drivers. So I did something very sacrilegious. I drilled a hole in the dash of a vintage truck. And guess what? It's my truck. I don't care. And it's for something very important. It's for this switch right here. This is for my auxiliary backup lights. Let's see if I can get her in there. And I think you all will approve, because when you see these lights, these auxiliary backup lights, you're gonna want to put some on your truck too. Or even your Prius or your Tesla. These threads are a little bit cruddy. This is an old switch. I don't know where I got it, but I took it off of something. Just start now. There we go. Let's see if I can get this thing turned the right direction. The little tab that's supposed to hold it in the right position is long gone. Can we turn it some more? That'll work. Let's make sure she's tight enough so she doesn't go nowhere. On, off. Okay, we're about to test it. All right, everything's hooked up. Let's test all these lights. Something's not hooked up right. I need to go check my connections. Okay, take two. I actually forgot to hook up a wire, or re-hook up a wire on the solenoid that I took off to hook up a power wire. So let's try again. Okay, we got tail lights. Alright, that's a success. I need to turn the lights off though. Alright, let's get into the dash and hook up the backup lights. The normal backup lights, not the auxiliary ones. That's part of the brand new neutral safety switch I got. So we're gonna go under there and hook it up. Alright, we're under the dash. Here is the old backup light switch slash neutral safety switch, which basically doesn't allow you to start the vehicle unless it's in park. In its shot. Somebody jumpered it already. and disabled the neutral safety switch by just splicing the 2 black wires together. I don't know why the backup light wire is in there. I have no idea. But I got a brand new switch here. Get it up here. Brand new. And we're going to go ahead and splice it into this wiring harness here. I peeled back some of the electrical tape here so I could see what the actual colors of the wires were, because the red ones were kind of faded and I wasn't quite sure what they were. But we're going to go ahead and nip this off right here and get this new one spliced in, and then get it mounted back up here. I don't know if you can see very well, but it goes right there. There's that little tab sticking up. That's on the shifter, and that's what actuates the switch and basically moves this back and forth. Right in park, it's all the way over here. Then in reverse, it moves over, and that turns the backup lights on, and all the other gears are back over here, and doesn't really do anything. There's no contacts for them. So let's get you guys set up here on the seat and underneath the steering wheel, and get this thing spliced together. So first thing I gotta do, go ahead and nip these wires off. Disconnect the battery first. Hang on. All right, battery's disconnected. Let's go ahead and get this show on the road. I'm still sniffling, still trying to get over whatever bug I had. Feeling a lot better though. Okay, so there's 2 black wires with a red stripe, and then 2 red wires with blue stripes. The blue stripe ones are the backup lights. And it doesn't matter which one is connected to whatever, because it's just a open close switch. So I need to figure out this camera situation here. All right, that's a little better. Go ahead and nip these off. I wish I had another connector like that. I don't, because I would have spliced it up there. So we'll just do it the old-fashioned way and solder everything together. So go ahead and strip some insulation off of here. I really like soldering everything. It's like a positive connection that you know won't fail. Prepped with some heat shrink, excuse me. Yeah, I'm curious. I wonder if I touch these wires together, if the backup lights will turn on. I'll hook the battery back up and find out. Alright, let's find out. nothing. Oh, maybe the key needs to be on. Let's try that. Still nothing. That's interesting. That means if I hook this up, it's not going to work. Well, let me get the multimeter, because one of these leads should have 12 volts on it. Got a good ground over here. Nothing on that one. And nothing on that one. What about these other ones? Okay, so these wires all come up here. Black and a red splice into a red wire up here, and then another black and red splice into another red wire over here. I don't know where they go. All right, back to the drawing board. I'm gonna have to look at the schematic and try to figure out what I'm looking at here. All right, so I've done some investigating. I got digging up under here on the dash, and look what I found. I found a connector that's just like the one on that new neutral safety switch I got. And if you look down here, it's bypassed. And then it hit me. Oh, this truck, you can't see over here on the hump, used to be a manual transmission, originally from the factory. And did some more investigating, and for a manual transmission, this actually gets bypassed because there's nothing on the steering column for a switch, right? So I'm like, okay, well, the backup light switch on the new manual transmission is actually on the transmission, so there must be some wires that go down there. So I crawled into the truck and I found something. So let's go, and I pulled it up underneath the hood. So let's go take a look. So all the way back up under there, under the steering gearbox, I pulled this wire out. And ironically, it's got black and red wires, which I was confused on those wires, by the way. The black with the red stripe are for your backup lights, the red with the blue stripe are for your neutral safety switch. So here's the original plug that would get plugged into the manual transmission to turn your backup lights on when you was shifted into reverse. And it was all wrapped up down there around some brake lines and stuff and just tucked away. So that's pretty nifty. And I took this jumper wire here and I jumpered these two connections here, and what do you know? The backup lights turned on. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to fabricate a jumper wire to put in here. I'm going to preserve this because I'm still at a 50-50 of whether or not I'm going to put a manual transmission in this thing when I do the diesel swap or an automatic. So I'm going to go ahead and preserve it at this moment and just put a jumper in here, and then go ahead and tuck this wire back up underneath there where it was. That way I got power going to my neutral safety switch / backup light switch on the steering column, and I can actually shift in reverse and get my backup lights. So we're going to go ahead and make a jumper real quick, install it in there, and go from there and get the switch installed tonight. Let that cool off. We'll get her installed and taped up. All right, let's get this here jumper wire put in. And then we'll go back and see if the backup lights are on. Hey, look at that. They're both on, they're both working. Fantastic. Let's get it taped up and get it tucked away so we can get this actual switch installed that we're trying to get done tonight. Go ahead and get it back up here like this so I can more neatly tuck it away back under there. I haven't figured out exactly where I'm going to put it, but probably pretty close to where I found it. It's actually pretty handy finding all the original wiring, because if I turn out to use a manual transmission, it's already there. All right, let's make sure that I didn't disturb that. Make sure these lights are still on. Indeed they are. All right, it's time to get into the dash and get this switch installed. All right, before we go back onto the dash, remember this? Remember I cut that off thinking I don't need that? Well, turns out that the connector actually was under there. But fortunately, this jumper plug that's installed when you have a manual transmission, I can go ahead and attach it right here, which I'm going to do right now. So we'll just cut these jumpers. Get these things spliced together. So cool it off, and we'll let it cool off, and then I'll tape it up a little bit and make it look pretty, and we'll go ahead and get it installed and hopefully shift the truck in reverse and the backup lights come on. All right, folks, let's see if we make this thing work. All right, so this bunch of wires that were attached to the old switch is kind of a mystery, because a black and a red and a black and a red up here are paired off and tied into a couple of red wires up here, and I have no idea what it's for or why it was done that way. But I do know that all these wires are dead. There's no power going to them at all. So what I'm probably going to do is I'm going to dead end them, just tuck them up there, and I'll worry about that at a later date. But for right now, let's get this here backup light switch installed. It's going to be hard for you guys to see, but there's a couple of little bolts back here that hold it on, or machine screws. One on that side and one over here that I can hardly reach. That one's going to be a bugger to get back in. It's a 5/16, so I got this little wrench here to help me get them in and out. And right now I got the truck in second gear or first gear. I'll put it all the way over, and yeah, it's all the way over first gear. Get that little lever out of the way. So it's easier to put the switch in. Oh yeah, this one's gonna be a trouble to put back in. All right, so the way this works is that when you go into park, it pushes it over, and the spring pushes it back this way when you shift into reverse, then neutral, and drive, and then second gear, etc. So that's why I got it all the way over in first gear right now to help me out to get this thing in here. Oh boy. I need two left arms to do this job properly, apparently. If I can just get these two screws started, that'll be half the battle. This one's going to be easy because I can see it. And there is some adjustability. You can rock this switch back and forth a little bit to adjust it. Let's see how much trouble this other one's going to be. Where are you? I'm starting to think I need to do that one first. Let's go ahead and take this one out and see. Put that back to where I don't lose it. I can see where it's supposed to go. Well, I can't see it. I can kind of feel it. That's not it. Okay, I gotta pull everything out. Camera, you're going up here. Light, you're going over here. I gotta somehow twist myself back up under here and see where this hole is. Okay, it's all the way right there. Okay, I got it started. Now, the other one is the other one lined up. Oh, look at that, it sure enough is. The trick here, I guess, is get them snug and then put the truck in park and see where we're at. This firewall is warped out here. Okay. Okay, that's fairly snug. Let's put it in park. Now I gotta check and see what the backup lights are doing. Dude, I gotta turn the key on. Let's go see if they're on. Okay, so they are on, which means I need to rotate it that way, I think. But it's already rotated that way as far as it'll go. Okay, I rotated the other way to see what happens. Okay, so now they're off. So let's try tightening it down right here and then shifting it in reverse to see. Ooh, I just hope I didn't blow a fuse. Okay, double check to make sure they're off. They're off. Let's go ahead and shift into reverse. See if that turns them on. And indeed it does turn them on, so let's put it in neutral and see if it turns them off. And they're off. Well, just for safety's sake, let's check drive. All right, they're still off. All right, back to work. Let's go ahead and tighten that sucker down. It appears to be in the right orientation.
I don't even know if you guys can see what I'm doing. I haven't even checked to see if the camera angle's okay or not. Pardon me if it's wrong. Okay. I need to tuck that thing up there too someday. I gotta get a new switch too for the... Oh, that's kind of loose. We'll deal with that later. Right now, we'll do a quick double check. We're gonna put you guys in the back. Y'all let me know if the backup lights turn on when I go into reverse. I didn't hear you tell me, so I had to come back and check. That's good, they're on. All right, that was a bit of a pickle, but got her done. Basically, the truck's rewired from basically underneath the cab all the way to the back. I got my new modern 7-blade trailer connector hooked up. I got my auxiliary backup lights hooked up as well, and also just now figured out what was going on with the backup light switch on the column. Got a new one of those installed and got it all sorted out, and everything's working the way it should be. Need to crawl into the dash and tuck some wires away and dead end a few of them and make sure it's all good and safe so we don't start any fires. And we're close to be able to call this truck a reliable driver. I got to rebuild the transmission. That's coming up next. There might be a couple odds and ends before that, but I'm waiting for some shop space at a friend's shop, and I'll get the truck in there, drop the transmission, bring it back here to the shop, put it on the bench and do a full rebuild. I got the whole kit, everything ready to go. Just got to get the time in the shop, and also I got to finish fixing my trailer because I can't leave my truck at the shop because there's some work going on in the parking lot, so I need to get my trailer fixed and a couple things done on that so I can bring the truck back, park it in the back lot while I rebuild the transmission. So anyway, thanks for watching. Sure would appreciate it if you guys subscribed, hit the like button, dropped a comment or two, let me know what you want to watch next, and we'll see you guys next time. Laters.